In 2015, a Russian man embarked on an extraordinary journey of alchemy, culminating in the creation of a peculiar-looking creature. He meticulously documented every step of his experiment and shared it with the world online. This is an experiment in artificial human creation. A.T. Kearney made a small hole in a uniying egg, then injected the male sperm into the yolk through a needle, and sealed the hole with tape. A.T. Kearney explained that the incubation process necessary for creating new life requires a dark and warm environment, so he placed the eggs in plastic containers and finally wrapped them with a cotton cap before storing them in a dark and warm location. 10 days later, A.T. Kearney cracked open the egg inside. They found a creature that resembled a chicken's claw, and to make matters worse, it was slowly wriggling. Unfortunately, the unidentified creature died quickly. A.T. Kearney attributed this to infection and rot during the hatching process. In the second experiment, Dr. Kearney took extra precautions. He disinfected all the equipment and sealed the opening with a bandage. Additionally, he extended the incubation time to 40 days. This time, the experiment was successful, and an unidentified creature hatched. The creature curled its body continuously, intriguing Dr. Kearney using tweezers. He carefully examined it and noticed a mouth-like structure. However, just as he was observing, the creature suddenly sprayed a liquid at him. Startled, Dr. Kearney grabbed a Russian-Chinese dictionary and swatted the creature, which had burned his arm with the liquid it emitted. When Dr. Kearney's mysterious experiment caught the attention of internet users, they raised an interesting question. Why did he exclusively use unfertilized quail eggs for his research? Could regular supermarket eggs yield similar results? Dr. Kearney explained that he hadn't tested supermarket eggs before. Historical records left by alchemists indicated that fresh quail eggs were the preferred choice for this experiment. However, to address the question directly, Dr. Kearney conducted a specific experiment. He purchased 20 supermarket eggs, dividing them into 4 groups of 5. Each group received an injection every 10 days. After 40 days, he cracked open all 20 eggs. Unfortunately, there were no signs of artificial life in any of them. Dr. Kearney concluded that ordinary store-bought eggs were not suitable for his unique experiment. In the subsequent period, A.T. Kearney conducted further experiments with uniying eggs and successfully bred 2 unidentified creatures. The first one underwent voltage testing and was playfully named Pikachu by netizens. The second creature, which moved slowly and resembled a starfish, was dubbed Slowpoke. We affectionately referred to it as Patrick, similar to the second experiment. Both creatures had elongated bodies with mouth-like suckers. After a few days of cultivation, Patrick even developed an eye that could move left and right under A.T. Kearney's guidance. A.T. Kearney typically added sugar and minced meat to the water, seemingly drawing nutrients through the creature's skin. Over time, they exhibited growth, including the appearance of blood vessels on their bodies. However, both Pikachu and Patrick eventually ceased growing. A.T. Kearney speculated that the size of the container in which they were kept might be a factor, so he purchased a larger tank and observed their interactions while feeding them together. However, an incredible scene unfolded. Pikachu firmly attached itself to Patrick using its suction cups. It's unclear whether they were mating or consuming each other. Meanwhile, the water in the tank became increasingly murky, and the creatures seemed to avoid human observation. A few months later, things took an unexpected turn. Pikachu and Patrick's star unexpectedly fused into a new life form. Kearney renamed it Hugus after the fusion. Pikachu's suction cups disappeared, and Patrick's star's eyes vanished. However, this wasn't its final form. Over the next few months, Hugus underwent significant changes. It regrew its suction cups, and teeth even sprouted within them. At this point, Kearney tried feeding it minced meat, but Hugus refused and only ate carrots and pumpkins. Becoming a vegetarian, Kearney explained that ancient alchemical texts mentioned using human blood to nourish creatures created in a bottle. Following this rule, he attempted to feed Hugus a piece of meat dipped in his own blood. Surprisingly, Hugus, who hadn't eaten meat in a long time, developed a strong preference for the blood-soaked meat. In one video, Kearney fed Hugus a small goldfish, but unexpectedly, the fish died as soon as it entered the tank. In the time that followed, A.T. Kearney also discovered that Hugus would squirt out a white liquid every once in a while. The pH of this liquid is 8.3, which is alkaline viewed through a microscope. There are many small particles moving in this liquid. A.T. Kearney also tried pouring the liquid into a potted plant, which withered a day later. He speculated that the liquid was toxic. A.T. Kearney concluded by saying that he had sent the liquid to a professional testing facility and believed that the truth would soon be made public. On January 20th, 2018, A.T. Kearney uploaded his last video. In the video, he came to the conclusion that Hughes produced a voltage of not less than 20 volts through instrument testing, but he hasn't uploaded anything since. The YouTube creators list records that A.T. Kearney died of a heart attack. Some netizens speculated that A.T. Kearney was hit by the venom of a creature he had created, causing him to suffer a heart attack. Some netizens speculated that he had understood the principle of life, mastered the secret of immortality, and faked his death to hide people's eyes. Whether these speculations are true or not, we have no way of knowing. Throughout history, humans have harbored a profound fascination with the concept of creating life. Legends and literary works worldwide, both ancient and modern, abound with tales of artificial life, ranging from Nuwa pinching clay figures to lotus root spelling Neza and the iconic story of Frankenstein. Whether it's the alchemical era's tales of villains in bottles or modern advancements in cloning technology, the human desire to create life remains a prevalent theme. However, modern technology poses significant challenges to achieving such ambitions. It's nearly impossible for a basic laboratory like A.T. Kearney's to conduct experiments aimed at genetic exchange between humans and chickens, let alone address the complexities of reproductive isolation. Firstly, such laboratories lack the capacity to isolate bacteria and viruses from the external environment. Additionally, the simplistic approach of injecting human semen into an egg does not lead to fertilization. Humans possess 23 pairs of chromosomes, while chickens have 39 pairs, and their chromosome types differ, with XY and ZW types unable to pair. These biological disparities further complicate the feasibility of such experiments within the limited confines of A.T. Kearney's rudimentary laboratory setup. In fact, in A.T. Kearney's original video, when he revealed the first creature that had been successfully cultivated, the image around the creature appeared distorted. You can examine it closely. At that time, foreign special effects teams also used post-production software to recreate the effects, producing creatures that closely resembled those cultivated by Kearney. They also identified traces of special effects in A.T. Kearney's original video. The highlighted areas in the image clearly show traces left by software modifications. Therefore, it can be reasonably concluded that the artificial humans created by A.T. Kearney were all fabricated using later software. It is worth mentioning that many netizens believe Kearney to be none other than a Russian theater actor named Nat. Curiously, Nat also passed away on January 24, 2018, from a heart attack, which coincides with the cause and time of death recorded for A.T. Kearney on the list of creators. Here, we compare the voices of the two individuals.
Говорит нам о определенных вероятностях, об определенных путях, которые перед нами открываются. Почему приблизительно? Потому что форма тела изменилась очень сильно.
Do you feel that the voices of the two people are very similar?